St George's Church, Hanover Square. This was George Frederick Handel's beloved local church, and today, as part of the first Sunday of Lent, there's a service to commemorate the famous composer, as well as a contemporary, Admiral Byng, who was executed in 1757. There's a link between these two men, and we're using choral music to explore it in this magnificent church. Handel's oratorio was performed in Covent Garden 3 days before Byng was executed. We believe there's a strong connection.
Especially to those involved in the Admiral Byng Campaign, direct descendants.
The Reverend Roderick Leese has included a section in his Lent sermon to explain why we're so involved with the Admiral Byng story.
Thane Byng here today. Many of you have been invited by Thane, sees a link with Handel, hence the approach to us here at St George's, for us to remember her forebear, and thinks that it is no coincidence that Handel staged his oratorio Triumph of Time and Truth in covert support just 3 days before Byng was executed.
So I'm Samir Savant, I'm the Festival Director of the London Handel Festival, and St George's Hanover Square was of course Handel's parish church for the many decades that he lived here in London, next door in Brook Street, and this is also the base for the London Handel Festival, so the majority of our concerts take place here.
How did you react when you heard about my story?
Well, I was intrigued. I mean, obviously never really heard of Admiral Byng before, and I'm never surprised about Handel because he was such a well-connected man and espoused a lot of causes and supported people, you know, and he's quite well known for his philanthropy and his support of the Foundling Hospital. But obviously this relationship between Handel and Admiral Byng is not so well known, but it's becoming better known through your own hard work. And the more that we can continue to highlight the Connection that Handel had with Byng, obviously the better it is for what you're trying to
achieve. Today we're honouring Handel's covert support for the plight of Admiral Byng. Covert because the politics of the time would not have allowed Handel to show explicit support for Byng's innocence. Also performed today is part of composer Piers Maxim's oratorio, inspired by the Admiral Byng story.
This is the first time we're going to hear Peace, Perfect Peace. Please tell us how you've elaborated on it.
That's right. Well, if you remember, this was the beginning of the second scene, the second act as it were, having had the prologue and then the first scene, and so this is where Sarah enters the fray and the spirit of Sarah meets up with Admiral Byng later. But this is the opening of that section where I had the opening of the sea hymn, if you like, Melita. And I've kept it as it was originally, but of course without Sarah's voice. And then that wonderful moment where Byng sings peace, perfect peace, and then questions how things have been since his death for his reputation.
That I was, that justice will be done to my reputation thereafter. Peace, perfect
But just to finish it off, the anthem, I'm using the end of Melita. So it starts with Eternal Saviour, and then ends with that the final couplet of the hymn, for those in peril on the sea. And I think it brings it to a close really beautifully.
The Byng story is of growing interest to academics. The O'Shaughnessy brothers, both history professors, attended the service. They also have links with the area where Byng lived.
We have an 18th century naval historian. What better man could we have? Because he also lives in Bedford.
That's right. I did. I'm now based in Virginia at the University of Virginia.
Why have you
And
left
I
us?
did a book on the British side of the American Revolution called The Men Who Lost America.
How very interesting.
Yes.
Now, will you do a book on Admiral Byng?
Well, we're
Well,
just
I'd
talking
say
about
it would
that,
be a very
actually,
good,
how much more was needed. We
need
often
a-
used to cycle past Southall Park as boys, and actually we obtained a copy of a portrait by Reynolds of Sam Whitbread, who got the park after Byng's death, the brewer, the Bedfordshire brewer. We all found about it from Voltaire. My father used to quote Voltaire when I was a boy, pour encourager les autres, and tell the story of Admiral Byng, which is kind of trapped in the cultural consciousness, actually. But because of Voltaire, because of those words from Voltaire, the English occasionally execute an admiral to encourage the others, is such French cynicism, of course. But it sealed Byng's place in history there, because Voltaire was Voltaire.
Because the story has come down for 262 years to a master descending from the first Viscount Torrington's wife. And we are, it is quite amazing how after 262 years, we've all got together.
The Admiral Byng Campaign has many supporters, including descendants of Byng himself. We're all from differing backgrounds, but we are united in our purpose, which is to get British history rewritten and have Admiral Byng finally exonerated.
We are delighted to have your support. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure. I'm delighted to be here. And congratulations to you for getting people together and having this campaign to have Admiral Byng's name corrected and for an exoneration for a crime that he never really committed and was wrongly tried for.
St George's is ringing the funeral bells in honour of Admiral John Byng. One toll every 20 seconds, each for a year of his life of 52 years. We'd like to leave you with the aptly named Triumph of Time and Truth.